And this one I actually want to talk at least a decent amount about, and we will not spoil, but you guys listening mostly know that Mom Brain and myself are big fans of Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and WandaVision came out on Friday, which I've been like crapping my pants for like a month now.
Crapping?
Yes. Shoveling?
Hold on. No, the front
Creaming?
end of
Creaming.
Front
Creaming. Sorry, creaming.
front pleasure pants.
Give me the front pleasure.
Have you changed your pants, or have you just been like filling those pants all month long?
Well, I am clean now, so the soiled pants are gone. They're taken care of. They had to be thrown out. But yes, Mom Brain and I watched it.
I don't want to be here.
I watched it as soon as it was live at like 3 a.m, and Mom Brain watched it the next day. So I watched it the second time with her because it was on my second monitor. Mom Brain, I will defer to you first and let you discuss. No spoilers, please.
10 out of 10. I will tell you, when that Marvel intro music hit, it took me somewhere I haven't been in a long time. I felt loved. I felt safe. I felt happy. I felt excited. I felt like everything was going to be okay. It brought me back to Endgame in that theater, surrounded by friends and fans. It just, it brought me to a place that I needed to be for a little while.
So the logo is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was talking about this last night when we were playing Fortnite. You have the same feeling that I do about like that intro, that Marvel intro. There's just something about it. It's not that it's just well made. It's that it brings back the memories of the movie adventures you've been on, and you recall. Like, I love all the Marvel movies. There's not one that I think is bad. There's a couple that I don't like as much as the other ones, but it's such like a journey. And as Grimbles was saying last night when we were playing Fortnite, it's the Marvel stuff is like, especially when it's released like this in a weekly format, is like an event, and the Marvel logo makes me think of an event. Like, I'm sitting down to watch like an event, the continuation of this huge story. It just signifies something special, and it gets me excited for what I'm going to see. And I was saying this last night too, the Star Wars logo now that Disney does gives me the same kind of thing. You're like, oh, here we go, something's coming. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, because I was thinking how much I love that, and to see you had like the same reaction that I had without saying anything to you. You like the logo came on, and you were like, oh man. But anyway,
so the show was fantastic. I have always loved the relationship between Wanda and Vision, and I thoroughly enjoyed the comic, the Visions. I think it's Visions, right? Because they're
the Visions is the comic.
Yeah.
Well, the one that you're talking about.
Yeah, anyway, it was fantastic.
What, Nikki Hill?
I thought you were talking about like the Vision's comedic vision.
No. I think I really liked the whole feel of the show without giving anything away. I liked that that you can't quite put your finger on what exactly is going on, and I think that's really like intriguing. But that's not the main focus all the time. Like, what's happening? What's going on? I really loved it. I thought it was a fantastic show.
It's so far removed from other Marvel stuff, but it's also firmly in the Marvel universe, obviously. But the way it's presented is very different. Like it has, I'm sure most of you know, it's like an homage to a whole bunch of classic sitcoms. And it's not like that's like throwaway stuff in a show. That's very important to the show, but it's also the bulk of the show, at least in the first 2 episodes. Like, that is crucial to the story they're telling, but also they are going so out of their way to... Is somebody not muted?
Oh, sorry, that was me. I keep wanting to chime in, but keep going.
It's an important part of the show. But they go so far out of their way to really respect what those classic shows were, and to try and match that formula exactly down to like how it's shot and how special effects are done and the kind of jokes and the pacing. It's so well done. So it's like, again, without spoiling, it's like 80% an homage to that kind of stuff. but that's going to open up into other stuff as the season continues. And then the other 20% is mystery and intrigue, and obviously there's things going on that we don't understand yet, and we're going to get more into that. It's a slow burn, whereas a Marvel movie, has 2 hours or 2.5 hours to do its thing, and is very action oriented. And I'm not knocking that. I love that stuff. I love all the Marvel movies, but this is very different. This is a slow burn with mystery and intrigue. And I was saying to somebody else earlier today, if the critics, this is the highest rated Marvel project or Marvel Cinematic Universe project of any of them. It's 97% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was saying, if this wasn't tied to Marvel, like take out the ties to Marvel and but keep all the characters the same, just a character that's like Wanda and a character that's like Vision, and tell that same story. I think the people, and put it on like HBO or something like that, I think people would be like really going nuts for it. But there are people who are going to see that it's tied to Marvel and maybe not be too thrilled with it because it's not the same action-packed stuff that you get in the theaters. I'm not saying that won't happen later on in the season, but TV shows are different from movies, and you have a longer time to tell a more in-depth story. So I couldn't be more excited about it. It's like classic sitcoms. It's I said to Mom Brain, it gave me a little bit of a Twin Peaks vibe too. And I happen to be on a Facebook group today, or I'm part of a Facebook group that's fans of Twin Peaks. And there were so many posts about WandaVision. They were saying, if you like Twin Peaks, you'll get some of that from WandaVision. And I agree with that. So I'm so pumped. And the only other thing to say is Disney Plus releases their stuff weekly rather than all at once. And again, I was talking about this mostly with Grimbles last night. It's nice to have a weekly thing to look forward to. If the show is out right now, I would binge through it right away. But then you binge it, you might really enjoy it, but you don't get to have stuff like sink in. You don't get to process and think, and you don't get to discuss theories and all that stuff. Like the week in between really helps to build like the excitement around the show. And then when Friday comes, you're like, oh, a new episode. And then you get to pick it apart and decipher everything that you're shown. I really appreciate that. So I'm all in. Yes, Kirby.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I also I appreciated the fact that there's only currently 2 episodes out, because if they had released the entire season, I probably would have been too intimidated, because I'm not much of a binge watcher. Like I tend to watch movies more than TV series, but this helped to I saw it was only 2 episodes, and I was like, yeah, why not? And so it helped to ease me in.
No, you're right. That's a very good point. I was making that same point to other people who I was telling the show, or telling them about the show, because I was like, the show just started and you can't binge it. There's only 2 episodes right now. So I was like, if you're curious about it, now's the time to get in, because there's not a lot. It's not even an hour long between the 2 episodes, like 50 plus minutes. In the chat, Freddie Fro says, even the old show it was parodying, we'd unironically watch an entire show about it. I would watch that. Yes, I thought as aiming for that type of humor, I thought they did a really good job. Like Mom Brain, you laughed out loud at the show. I laughed too. I thought they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, it reminded me of watching Nick at Night.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Nick at Night.
I can't wait for WandaVision to get to the George Lopez section of their throwbacks.
Oh, no.
That's horrible.
That's the episode that'll start with everybody jumping on a trampoline. But
Kirby,
yeah,
you might be able to say that you binge watch movies because you sit down and you watch the whole thing for 2 hours.
I guess you could consider that a type of binging. Like last night I watched Deadpool 1 and 2 back to back.
You binged that. You binged the whole Deadpool series.
I see people in the chat saying 2 a week sounds like it would work well. I don't think it's 2 a week. I think it's 1 a week, but they just debuted with 2 episodes this week. So I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody could look it up and find out, but
we don't talk about these things at the water coolers anymore, people. We're big people. We're big boys and big girls. Put the whole show out, and if you want to binge it, you can. And if you want to watch 1 episode a week, you can. I don't know why you guys are praising this.
I was waiting.
You just don't have You just don't have the fortitude to hold back when a full show is available. I think you should put everything out there, and you guys should watch it one episode at a time, once a week, and then talk about it. That's what I think. And then a guy like me can binge it and make his judgments about a show that he doesn't remember because he binged it too quick.
See, I would love to have that world as well, where you have the option to binge or you can watch one episode a week. The problem is the internet. Spoilers are inescapable. I cannot trust that I'll be able to binge things in the amount of time everybody else does, that I'm not going to get things spoiled. So the last like 4 or 5 shows or games that I've tried to avoid spoilers for and gone out of my way for still get things spoiled. So I would normally agree that yes, we should have the option. Hi, Steister. You either you have the option to binge or you watch as many episodes as you want. You watch one a week, whatever. Yeah, that'd be great. But I'm too worried about things getting spoiled for me. So
that's a good point. You make a good point. We live in a world like that.
2 internets, one internet for the bingers, one internet for the non-bingers, so that there's no crossover.
I do, and then like
any other problems that you have, let me give you a solution.
Like I said, I appreciate that people want to binge, and I do like that they have that choice. But me personally, I like the excitement of. It's hard to say because I like the excitement of having to wait and analyzing and reading what people are talking about and all that stuff, and everybody being on the same page. I really like that. But I also want, like I said, if all the episodes were out now, I would watch them in a day or two because I'm that excited for it. But having to wait builds the excitement. Like it was the same thing with The Mandalorian. I was very excited for The Mandalorian. I would have watched all the episodes if they were out at the same time, but having to wait was fun in a way. And it's not something I thought originally I would say, because, we're watching stuff on Netflix and all that stuff comes out at the same time mostly. But then, with Stranger Things, you watch Stranger Things, and I really loved the last season. It was fantastic. I can't wait for the next one. But I blew through that in a couple days, and, everybody talks about that show for a couple weeks, and then that's it. It's dead. Like, nobody talks about it until a trailer for the new season comes out. So I like that this, prolongs the experience. But
I just was going to add that I haven't watched it yet, but it sounds like this show is based on old school shows where there was no such thing as binge watching.
That's a good point.
Every week.
That is a really good point. Yeah, obviously that's very much the case here. Like the show, as it is right now, spoofs. I don't want to say spoof isn't the right word. It pays homage to Bewitched and the Dick Van Dyke Show and a little bit of Leave It to Beaver too. So that's where it's at right now. But then that's going to evolve as the show goes on. But yeah, those shows you had to wait week to week for.
And there were only 3 channels on TV, right?
Yeah, right. That is also true. So yeah, if you're a Marvel fan, I'm guessing you already checked it out, or you're gonna do so soon, and you know about it. But if you're not, I don't know. If you're not a Marvel fan, I guess you're not gonna watch it. But
but to me, I guess I can't say for sure. That. I'm a Marvel fan, so I can't go back and not know, but it doesn't look like seem like the kind of show that you have to be into Marvel to get. So
yes,
far.
The Marvel aspects will certainly play into it now, and you'll get more from it if you're following Marvel, yes. But it's very interesting you say that, because it seems like the type of show that you could go in blind and be intrigued by it, and then want to learn more about the Marvel stuff because of it. So I definitely get what you're saying, because it's right now it's its own thing completely. I don't know where it's going to be when it ends. When it ends, there might be a whole bunch of stuff that only makes sense to people who saw the movies. I don't know. But right now, yeah, you could go in not knowing anything about Marvel, and I think you'd be intrigued. If you went in right now not knowing anything about Marvel and watched the bulk of the first episode, you would think it's just a send-up of those classic sitcoms until... things. So, but yes, I'm very, very excited about it. Thanks so much for checking out this highlight to the Go Nintendo podcast. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast, you can check out the description below and subscribe to this channel for more podcast highlights.